So, listen. The first time I saw a menstrual pad is my sister business of fasting. I have an older sister. Hi, Trudy. She's 6 years older than me. So, of course, she got her period before I did. So, I don't know what I was fasting into one day because, I was just so excited to be all grown up. She got to wear bras. I loved a good bra. I used to put on the bra and pin it up because, it's normally big for me. And stuff it with socks and walk around like this. So I was very excited about growing up. But in fasting my sister business, I buck up into a square package, a long square package. Well, no, it's really rectangular package. And I opened it and I took out a thing out of it, and it just narrow and white and long. And I feel it and it kind of soft. I was like, what is this? Yep, you guessed it. It was our menstrual pad. And that is what we're going to be talking about today, right here on Everyday Period. Let's explore menstrual products. The information shared on Everyday Period is for educational and informational purposes only and is not a substitute for professional medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. Always seek the advice of a qualified healthcare provider with any questions or concerns you may have regarding your health or medical condition. Never disregard professional medical advice or delay seeking it because of something you heard on this show. Your health is unique and only a medical professional can provide personalized guidance. Everyday Period removes the stigma, the awkwardness, and the taboo from reproductive health and introduces real empowering conversations for greater understanding. Hi, I am Shelly-Ann and I am here to host you as well as guide you through the murky waters of all things reproductive health. And today, Lord, it dropped already, we're talking about products. Yes, of course, this is one of our period kits that we put inside of our jeans. We made these from jeans that people donated. We asked people for old jeans and they donated them. And Brescia turned those jeans into pouches, period pouches. And what we do, we fill them up with products. So this one is full of products. Yeah, we fill them up with products and we give them away. So we have donated about 200 of them so far. So if you want to donate, I'm going to tell you how later on in the show. So you can send us your old jeans and we can make more people have access to menstrual products, which is what we're talking about today on Everyday Period. Now, menstrual products are a very vital part of the things that women and girls need every single month in order to, well, just be women and girls. It's just a fact of life for us. And it is so interesting because people assume that we know how to use them. Really? Trust me, there are so many people who were not taught how to use menstrual products properly. I'm going to fix that today, right here on Everyday Period. Are you ready? Let's normalize the talk, celebrate the experience, and make periods something we're proud to discuss. Welcome to the conversation. I want to hear from you. If you have any questions or comments about the topic, or if you have a question about reproductive health generally, send us an email at embraceherflow@gmail.com. You can also like, share, and subscribe to our channel, Period TV. And just remember, we are here for you. Everyday Period is brought to you by Herflow Foundation, empowering Jamaicans one flow at a time. Everyday Period is an AP1 production. Follow Herflow on Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn, and Facebook at Herflow Foundation. And visit our website at embraceherflow.com. Don't forget to subscribe to our newsletter. So we are going to get into the world of all things period products. But before we get into the products, let's talk about the body parts. Yep. And before I get into the body parts, let me just show you this vulva that was crocheted by Bliss. Things by Bliss. You can find her on Instagram. Please go on over there. She does amazing work, as you can see. And I love the fact that I got a chocolate vulva because, hello, Black women got vulva too. TV, yeah. TV, we have vulva too, you know. I'm just saying. So anyhow, let me tell you about the body part. Now, I know for a lot of you, you were introduced to this as a vagina. This is not the vagina. You cannot see the vagina externally. The vagina is an internal space. You can see the vaginal opening, which is right here. but the vagina inside. So show you the inside part, right? So let us tell you about the different parts of the vulva. Now, we have the labia majora, which is very expertly crocheted by Bliss, which is right here, right? And we also have another set of labia, which is on the inside. That's called the labia minora. And the labia is there for protection, because when you stand up with the legs closed, the labia close up like so. Nothing can go in, everything close up so. And for those who have hair, the hair is there to protect you too, yeah? So I know not love to shave off everything, but the hair is really there for protection. I know there are some people prefer the clean shaven vulva. I'm going to talk about you, but let's focus. So the hair is necessary, all right? So this is the labia, as I said before. And of course, we have different holes or openings that starts in the vulva. All the way under here, sir, is the anus, yeah? Under the bottom part here, sir, anus, you know what happens to the anus, all sorts of funky things comes out of there. And some people use it for fun times, but that's if you're into that, all right? And then you have the urethra, which is right here. This is where the urine comes from. We do not urinate through our vaginas. Say it with me. We do not urinate through our vaginas. We urinate through our what? Urethra, which is right here. And of course, this area here is the outside part that leads us to the vaginal opening, which is right here. This is the vaginal opening, which is right above the anus and below the urethra. So it's 3 orifices: urethra, vagina, vaginal opening, which is right here, and anus. Okay, ladies, 3 of them we have. And my favorite part of the clitoris. Now, this clitoris is actually an internal organ as well, and you just seen a piece of it on the outside. But the clitoris actually extends right through the pelvis. And if you have ever had an orgasm, you realize that your entire body seems to take a life of its own, and that is because of the extent and reach of the clitoris, right? So the clitoris is actually a very big organ. It's just that you just see a little part of it on the outside. So, one more time, for those who were not paying attention, labia majora, labia minora, which is inside of the labia majora, the urethra, which is below the clitoris, then the vaginal opening, which is right at the base of the labia minora, and below that is the anus, and this is your vulva. Get used to the word. Do not refer to the external reproductive system on the human female as a vagina, because it is actually called a what? Vulva, all right? We're going to be talking about products and how we use them inside of the vulva and how we protect ourselves while we have our period. But of course, you don't have to tell you what's going on inside of the body too. So let me talk to you about the internal organs that make up the reproductive system in the human female. We have the ovaries. We have 2 of them, one on the left and one on the right. This is where we store our ovum or eggs. And that is what is released every month that makes its journey to the fallopian tube in the event preparing itself for pregnancy. And of course, another preparation that happens for pregnancy is the uterine lining, which is the uterus is here. The lining of the uterus grows to form a protective space where the embryo will land and goes into a fetus, right? So the egg makes its way to the fallopian tube, and when you have sexual intercourse, the penis comes through the vagina, which is here. Yes, so this is my penis right now. See my penis? Yeah, this is my penis. And it comes through the vagina and releases sperm that makes its way up the cervix into the womb, where it meets the egg, or sometimes it comes up a little into the fallopian tube, meets the egg, and fertilizes the egg, and the fertilized egg will make its way to the uterine lining that has been prepared for it, and then a fetus will develop, an embryo. It becomes an embryo that becomes a fetus that develops into a zygote, which eventually develops into a baby, right? But in the event of no fertilization, you're not out there engaging in an activity that causes the penis to go into the vagina, so you don't have any sort of fertilization. What happens is all of that uterine lining that was created in preparation for this pregnancy now sheds, it breaks down, and it makes its way down through the cervix, out through the vagina, and that is our period. Also, the egg that was there disintegrates as well, and that comes out through the cervix, out the vagina, and that is our period. Something to note, the period is not just blood. The period is blood plus the uterine lining plus the tissue from the membrane and pieces of the egg, which is not a lot, it's a little piece, and all of those vaginal secretions comes through the body as period, right? So it's not just blood. So internal organs, external organs. Now we're gonna see how we use the menstrual product to help us manage our period every single month. We're gonna start with the popular products, the disposable products, because those are the ones that we know. So you will realize here that I have a few different type of menstrual pads right here. These are generally the ones that are available. Not much differences between them. The brands are similar. You realize that this fold is similar in most of the brands. This is the industry standard. They fold it the same way. And this fold is important because it helps us to identify the front of the pad from the back of the pad. Now, this is something that a lot of people don't think about. And the reason why it is important is, let me get my trusty underwear. Don't worry, I got panties here too. Let's use this one. So I have a panty right here, right? And we're gonna put our pad on this panty, but there's a correct way to do it. Now, the panty has a front and it has a back. The pad also has a front and a back. And it's important that the front of the pad lines up with the front of the panty. All right? What do I mean by that? Now, I like to just turn my panty inside out and put we call it the crotches, the seat, the crotch of the panty on the palm of my hand, just to give me a flat space to work with. But you see, in doing this, what I've done is I've made the front of the pad here and the back of the pad here. And this is going to help me align the pad properly with the underwear so I get the maximum support. So let us use this pad, for example. Now, this is what you call an overnight pad. Sometimes you can tell by the color of the packaging what's overnight, what's not. It's usually purple in some brands. Some brands is some sort of dark blue, but for this exercise, it is purple. So this one have blue and purple, right? So what we're gonna do now is to identify the front of the pad. Now, remember I told you about the fold. The fold of the pad makes a difference because in all of the pads that are folded this way, the front of the pad is where this top flap is, right? Where the top flap is, this is another brand, right? The front is there, same thing for this one, where the top flap is, the front is there. So let me show you what I mean. If I were to go ahead and open this pad, right? Here, this part is the front of the pad. And let me open it all the way out and explain to you what I mean. Because this is an overnight extra long pad, you realize that this is a little longer. No, matter of fact, a lot longer than a regular pad. And let me compare. So that is the overnight extra long. Put down my panty for a second. And let me give you another panty, another pad. This pad is not an overnight pad. This is more of a super pad. But if you realize with this pad, when you look at it, this one is shorter than this one. You see that? It's a little shorter. Let's open another one. This one is actually much smaller. Same thing. We have the front right here, and then we extend it out, and you realize that, see, 3 different pads. Now you'd find that how you determine what size pad you use will depend on your flow and will also depend on your preference. Now, some people like thinner pads than thicker pads, but just because the pad is thicker doesn't necessarily mean that it gives you a better coverage. Let me give you another example. This is a thinner overnight pad. See, this one was a much thicker one. This one is thinner, but this is also an overnight pad. Let me open this one for you and compare. See, they are both overnight pads, about the same length. Well, this one is a little longer, but about the same length. And believe it or not, this one is just as absorbent as this one. I know that might be hard to believe because this one is thicker, but the way they're doing the pads now is that they're making them so absorbent that whenever you bleed into the pad, it pulls the moisture away from your body. Some brands have that technology, some brands not so much, but you can, try and see which one works better for you. Let me use another brand and show you, just so you can compare the different overnight pads and see this one now. It's a thinner pad as well. But when we compare the two thinner pads, you see that it's about the same height, about the same length, right? And you also notice that this one is a little bit thicker than this one. So this one is still very thin, even though it's an overnight pad. And you'll get about the same kind of coverage with all of them, right? Now, the reason why I want to show you this is because some people ask a lot of questions about, then how I know which pad I'm going to use or which pad to buy. The science behind the overnight pad is because it gives you more coverage. So obviously it's going to be fitting on your underwear very different. It's going to take up a lot more space. It comes up a lot far behind. It's because some of us sleep on our back, and if you sleep on our back and we're lying down, then have a little extra protection for us in case the period runs down. All right? So that's why the overnight pad is so long. Now, this one is also great absorbency. It's not as long as an overnight pad, but one of the things that you realize is that it gets wider at the back. This one gets wider at the back, and so it gives you more protection at the back. If you notice, when you look at the front and the back of the pad, most of the protection is really the middle to the back of the pad. It's the same for all of them. It's from the middle to the back of the pad, and that is because that is where the vagina will land. The vagina will land somewhere around here if you put on your pad. So the front there is really just a little away from the vagina, but that also gives you that extra support for those who are sleeping. If you sleep on your front, on the front, when you lie down, gravity will the blood might flow forward. There's space for it to catch it. All right. So I was showing you how to put it on. So back to my underwear. Remember, I'm putting my underwear on. So I have my front of my underwear and the back of my underwear. So which pad am I going to use? Let us use this one. So this one now, if you notice, there is a bend where the pad folds and there is a stitch on the underwear, right? You want to line up the bend of the fold with the stitch of the underwear. So when you line it up like this, what happens is you line it up where the vagina will land just about here, and then you have all of this to catch the blood when it comes through. So we're going to go ahead and peel off the packaging down there. And now I'm going to, remember I told you, stitch, and fold. I'm going to put those together like so. And then we're going to press down to ensure that it is firmly stuck to the underwear. You want to get a good, strong hold, because it's just going to hold it in place, right? Not every pad has wings. Some of them have wings, some of them don't. This one has wings. And so we're going to peel off the tab and we're going to fold our wings. Now the wings have two main functions. Function number one is to hold the product in place. And the other function is to create a level of protection at the sides here. Because this is where your legs would go. And sometimes, because you're moving around, you might have a little spill on the side. It protects the side of your underwear, right? And because this is the overnight pad, it's a little longer. There is another set of wings at the side, at the back here. And you do the same thing, peel it off and you stick it onto the underwear. Now, you want to make sure that you have a good fitting panty. Now, I cannot stress this enough. If you have silk underwear, sometimes you have some silk underwear that slip and slide. It's not the ideal underwear to wear pads in. You want a good, sturdy cotton panty because that is going to give you the best security when you put your pad on. And see, my pad is on. I can just step into it and get on with my day, right? So this is what it looks like when you put it on. And little boys, when I show little boys this process, they go, but miss, this is really a diaper. Some people actually do wear adult diapers with their period because they really flow heavy. So this is what you would do to put on your pad. Now, believe it or not, for a lot of little girls, when they have their period for the first time, what happens is that they are given a menstrual pad and send them to the bathroom and say, you can put this on. But no instruction. They don't know what to do. So they end up in the bathroom quite a few minutes trying to figure out how to put this thing here on. Sometimes they guess, sometimes they get it right. Sometimes not so much, but you can show them this video and help them put on their pad on their underwear, right? So, let's talk about disposal since I'm here. So, you put your pad on your underwear and let's assume some time has passed and I bled on my underwear. Now I'm going to take my pad off. Usually I'll do this while I'm still wearing the panty, but I don't need to do that for this purpose. So let's just assume that I took it off completely like this. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to loosen up my wings, because the wings, remember, is holding it in place. So you loosen up your wings like so. And we're assuming that all of this is full of mess, so we don't want to touch the middle. Most of the time, the top front isn't soiled, or the blood doesn't make it all the way up to the top front, so we can hold that part and peel it off completely. Now, what I like to do is to hold the blood in the inside, contain the blood inside, so I'll put the two ends together like this, and then I will roll the pad. Now, I roll it like this because all of the goobly is in the middle. And you see, the adhesive helps to hold it in place like so. The next thing I do is to take my packaging, because I'll usually have the packaging from the new pad that I want to put on. So you take that packaging and then you roll it. You roll the soiled pad into the packaging like so. And this is good enough to throw into the garbage. Now, if the bathroom has a sanitary disposal, drop it in a sanitary disposal, but if it doesn't, use the regular garbage can. Now, I know for a lot of people that is a controversial statement, but the truth is, it's just garbage. It's plastic and some cotton and some paper in some cases. Throw it in the garbage. Now, a part of the reason why some Jamaicans have an issue throwing this in the regular garbage is because of the stigma and shame associated with periods in this country. And in this country, periods are so dirty that even the garbage gets soiled when you put the period product in the garbage. Rubbish. Use the regular garbage can if you don't have a sanitary garbage can to use. Okay. You can wrap it up like this. This is good enough. Drop it in the garbage. I said it. All right. Let's talk a little bit about tampons. All right. So let me put away my pads. Putting away my pads. Put them over here for a second. And let's talk about tampons. Now, tampons, still have some more pads to get rid of. Tampons are controversial for some people because they're still telling students right now, in modern times, that good girls don't wear tampons. Now, I don't know about that, because the truth is, tampons are a great option for those students who are athletes. You see what students who are athletes have to perform in the track and field athletes, the swimmers, even the netball players, whatever sport they play. Their uniforms are some of them very body fitting, very body conscious. So they don't really have space for the big bulky pad, right? So the tampon is a lot more user friendly for them. So let's just look at the tampon now. This is a regular tampon. Tampons come in different sizes as well. You have regular. This is a regular one. So let me put it here. You have Super Plus. This is a Super Plus. Let me open this one for you. And you'll realize that the tampon itself comes with an applicator. So I'm going to show you. So right away, you see that the size is different. And that is a Super Plus. This is a Super. So let me show you the Super. And you have different brands tampons as well. And you would realize that for most of them, they come with an applicator. Some tampons, does not come with an applicator. You have to actually just insert the tampon inside of your body. A lot of persons actually don't like to do that because, that's getting too personal. But as we get into reusable products, you realize sometimes you just have to get personal. This particular brand comes like this. So what you have to do is to pull out this part, snaps into place like that. And that is your applicator. And see, this is also a regular tampon. So we have regular, Super Plus. And let me see which other one I have. Which one is this? This is also, this is a light. All right, good. So I can show you this one. Right, so you have different types, different size tampon. Okay, so we are going to talk about tampons now and how you apply the tampons. Now remember I was telling you, I just wanted to show you the different sizes of the tampons, and then I'm going to show you how to use them, right? So this is Super Plus. This is super, this one, super. And these two are regular. And then this one is slim, which is light. For a lighter flow, you won't have to use the Super Plus if you have a lighter flow. And for those who want to know, it's not the size of the vagina that determines what size tampon you use, because the vagina is an amazing, independent, wonderful organ, and she can expand or contract as she needs to, okay? So it's not a vaginal size that determines what tampon you use, it's really your flow. So if you're flowing heavier, then you use a bigger tampon, which is the Super Plus for really heavy flow. The Super Plus tampon will be similar to an overnight extra long pad. And then you have the Super Flow, which will be similar to, well, you have super pads too. And you also have maxi pads too. And then the regular, well, regular is still regular, normal flow. And then light is for your lighter flow, right? So how do you use them? I'm gonna tell you. Let me use my vulva. Now, the tampon, we have the applicator. All right, let's use the regular one. We have the applicator, right? So what we're gonna do is, so this is our vulva. Remember, we have our vaginal opening right here. So we're gonna take the tampon applicator and we're going to insert it into the vaginal opening. And then we're gonna push on the applicator, like so. Geez, I mean, I normally have a vantage point here, you know, so you work with me, right? So you're going to push in the applicator, the bottom of the applicator, which push in the tampon like so. And then you pull out the applicator. This part of it you'll dispose of, throw it in the garbage, right? And then you notice that there's a string hanging out. This string hangs out of the vagina normally. This is a thing, right? So when you do this, remember that we have 3 different orifices, so you can still urinate, because remember that your urethra is right here, and you can still defecate, because remember that the anus is under here. So what's going on here, not going to stop any of those functioning from still happening, all right? So for those who think that you cannot urinate while you're wearing a tampon, why do you think that? Stop thinking you can. Because you urinate from a completely different orifice, all right? So the tampon is in here, and how do you take it out? Well, you know, a lot of women can tell, especially if you wear a tampon often enough, when their tampon is saturated. Or, you know, you can time it. You change your tampon about 4 to 6 hours after you insert it. And it also depends on your flow, right? So you go ahead and pull on the string, which the tampon will come out. This is going to be saturated. And you can get a piece of tissue or plastic bag, or, you know, some people just wrap it up in a piece of tissue. Or sometimes they wrap it up into the applicator of the next tampon. And you just put it in there and you wrap it up, and you dispose of it. All right, let me show you what that looks like on the inside of the body. Oh, you know, my very nice internal reproductive system. So remember I told you that this is the vagina. Here's our tampon, right? So the tampon gets inserted here, right? And it gets into the vagina, and then when it lands now, we use the applicator to insert the tampon into the vagina. See, it's still stuck there. And then the applicator part now, we will throw this part away. So the tampon stays there. The blood, remember, it's coming from the uterine lining, and it's coming down through the cervix, and it's going to land right on the tampon. And so the tampon will catch everything. And then when you're ready, you'll remove the tampon, like I said, and you will also dispose of it. Now, there are some people who prefer different menstrual products. It's really up to you. You can use, if you're a tampon person, you can use tampons. If you're a pad person, you can use pads. There are pros and cons to everything, but it's really personal. Personally, I wear tampons sometimes, I wear pads. Most of the times, I prefer not to stick anything upside in my body to stop my period flow, which is what tampons kind of do. But I don't feel like that anymore, because I've discovered the menstrual cup. Now, I just told you about the disposable products. Now, the disposable products are the products that you use one time and then dispose of them. Now, I'm going to tell you about the reusable products. These are the products that you use, clean, and you get to use them again. Menstrual cup is going to be the first one. We'll be right back. Everyday Period is brought to you by Her Flow Foundation. The Herflow Foundation is dedicated to improving menstrual health and addressing key social issues affecting women and girls in Jamaica. Through advocacy, education, and direct support, Herflow works to break the stigma surrounding menstruation and empower women to live healthier, more fulfilling lives. Herflow's flagship project is to end the period poverty in Jamaica. Since inception, Herflow has donated over 9 million menstrual products to Jamaicans in need. To learn more about Herflow, please visit embraceherflow.com. It's time for Ask the Period Lady. You know this is my favorite segment. So, I get a chance to hear from you. Let's see who's got a question for me today. Hi, Sophia. Sophia wants to know, she says, "Hi, Period Lady. My friend was telling me about a menstrual cup and how she enjoyed it. I'm curious, what's the best way to introduce reusable products to my daughter? She's 14. So, Sophie, you don't want to try it yourself. You just jump straight to your daughter. All right, no problem. So, the best way to introduce reusable products to your daughter who's 14, I wouldn't go all the way to the menstrual cup with her. I would start her with the panties because the leak-proof panties is comfortable, easy to use, and it's low maintenance, so she can just wear it and then she can take it off and change into a new one whenever she's ready to change. And of course, show her how to use it and the typical things. You'll give her a plastic bag so she can put it in it whenever she changes it, and make sure she takes them out of her bags when she gets home. But that is the one that I would recommend, the leak-proof panties, because I think that's a great introduction to reusable products, and give her the responsibility of taking care of it. I know enough of the parents nowadays, don't want to pity for nothing because we don't want her to be a princess. But this world not very kind to princesses, so them a mash up Meghan Markle. But let me focus. My point is, give her a reusable panty. That should be a great one to start her with. And of course, guide her. Ask her what she thinks. And for you, I don't ever ask about you, Miss Sophie, but for you, try the menstrual cup. Let your friend help you and tell you what her experience was. You should try the menstrual cup. I bet you like it. Try the menstrual cup, Sophie. Your friend is right. It's a great option. And plus, if you try it and you don't like it, you can always go back to the one that you normally use, don't it? Try it, man. Thank you, Sophie. Hey, Everyday Period fam. If you're loving these real, unfiltered conversations about reproductive health, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss an episode. Join the movement by liking, sharing, or dropping your thoughts in the comments. We want to hear from you. Let's keep breaking the stigma and spreading the knowledge. Periods don't stop, and neither do we. Follow us on Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn, and Facebook at Herflow Foundation. Thank you so much for staying with us, and that is the end of part 1 of our episode about products. Yes, it's so many products, we gotta do it twice. So make sure I catch you in part 2. But in the meantime, I just want to remind you that reproductive health is not just period or pregnancy. It is how we take care of ourselves physically, mentally, socially, and even emotionally. And as you go through your life, remember that from puberty to menopause, reproductive health is a very, very big part of it. So be kind to yourself and each other. And I'll see you for part 2. So bye-bye. Until next time, I am Shelly-Ann. Take care. Walk good. If you want to get in touch after the show, send your questions or comments to embraceherflow@gmail.com. Until next time, remember to like, share, and subscribe to our channel, Period TV. Follow us on Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn, and Facebook at Herflow Foundation. Our website is embraceherflow.com, and don't forget to subscribe to our newsletter. Thanks to our production team, Ep5 and Digital Pro, for the great support, and thank you for tuning in. See you next time. Take care. Walk good.